Good morning students. Welcome to online session of social sciences. I hope you all have understood all the previous topics very nicely, and I hope that as I have said to read the next pages of that chapter which I am explaining. I hope you all have read that pages. Okay. So dear students, before starting today's explanation, I would like to recapitulate the information that we have gained in the previous class. In previous class, we have studied about the various Mughal military campaigns. In that, we have gained the knowledge in the context of Babur, Humayun, Jahangir, Noor Jahan, Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb. Among these all, Aurangzeb was very different. He was determined to restore the Islamic character of the state, and he reversed all the policies of Akbar, including religious policy of tolerance. He was an orthodox Muslim and a ruler too. He had many wars in the north. So dear students, today I will explain the rest of the topic of this chapter. So I am starting from the topic, that is Mughal administration. Now, as you all know that the Akbar had introduced Deen-e-Ilahi. He followed a policy of religious tolerance, which was an essential condition for the nation building. He abolished jizya kind of tax that we have studied, which was imposed on the non-Muslim people. And he abolished many other taxes also. He was a magnificent builder. Beside all this, he was a capable administrator too. Do you know and you remember Sher Shah? Yes, Sher Shah was an Indian ruler who ruled India from 1540 to 1545. He was very capable and intelligent Muslim ruler. Akbar introduced innovation in almost every branch of administration. While doing so, he improved the administrative legacy of Sher Shah also. Now, Akbar developed the administrative system in such a manner that his successors had only to maintain it with minor or small changes from time to time. Now, we will see the changes in the central administration. The emperor was the pivot. Pivot means the central point on which something turns or balances. So, in that time, emperor was the pivot of the administration. It means that the only emperor balances the administration as the central point. Akbar was an autocratic, means it was a ruler who has complete power. He had unlimited powers to control his administration. Though despot means a ruler with great power. Akbar was an enlightened, means he had a understanding of people's needs and their situation. Or we can say that he had the modern attitude to life. Akbar had not single-handed administration. He appointed number of ministers to assist them. Assist them means to help him and advise him. The most important ministers of the central government were the Vakil, Diwan, Bakshi and Khane-Saman. Now we will understand about all these ministers. First of all, we are having here about the Vakil. Now, at the time of Akbar, the Wazir was the chief minister. But after the fall of Bairam Khan, do you remember Bairam Khan? Yes, that he was the important military commander. Later he became the commander-in-chief of the Mughal Empire. He was also the guardian, chief mentor, advisor, teacher and the most trusted one of Akbar. So, after the fall of Bairam Khan, the office of Vakil began to decline or decrease. Second is Diwan. So, Diwan was to control the two departments. First, finance and second is revenue. Diwan made various rules and regulations for the land revenue settlement. Third is Mir Bakshi, the head of military. He appointed from among the leading nobles of the court. The Mir Bakshi was mainly concerned with the recruitment. Recruitment means selecting a person for particular job, maintenance, training and inspection of the army. He was the paymaster of the imperial army. Paymaster means a person or an organization that pays another to do some work. Next is Khan-e-Zaman. He was a charge of the royal household. Household means it's a family or social unit which live together. The main duty of Khan-e-Zaman were first to control the emperor's personal servant and to look after the food stores, etc. Second duty was to maintain or to manage the karkhanas. Karkhanas means a manufacturing center under the state supervision during the Sultanate and Mughal periods. And now in today's in common term, it is used for the place for manufacturing and assembling the things. Beside this four, another was there, that is Sadar us Sadur. Now this Sadar us Sadur means judicial administration. The Mughal efficiently carried out the judicial administration with the help of some Qazi and Muftis. Both were appointed by the king on his recommendation, and it was to encourage the Islamic learning among the people. Next is provincial administration. The Mughal emperors had divided the empire into two provinces, or you can say two areas or supas. The head of the province's administrator was known as Subedar or Sipa Salar. Many duties were assigned to him. Some of his duties were first, to maintain peace and order in the provinces or area. Second, to hold court and administer even-handed justice. Even-handed justice means fair and impartial in treatment or judgment. Third is to encourage agriculture, trade and industry in the provinces or area. The Subedar was the supreme. Supreme means the highest or the greatest. Okay, so that Subedar was the supreme military commander in the province. He had the powers to punish disobedient subordinates. Disobedient means those who will not be obedient. They are not following the rules, regulations. That kind of. Subordinate means a rank below another. Subedar had many powers, but there were certain checks on his powers too. There were at least 3 central ministers, viz. the Diwan, Mir Bakshi and Sadaru Sadur. They all have direct control over the Subedar. The emperor appointed a Subedar in consultation with the ministers. Consultation means a discussion between people before taking any decision. The primary unit of administration was the village. It was under the charge of Muqaddam, a Patwari and a Chaukidar. The Panchayat system was there and they were settling the village disputes. Next is revenue system. So dear students, we have studied earlier that many sources of income of the government was there, but the main income or main revenue was the land revenue. Akbar appointed Raja Todarmal as his revenue minister to reform. Reform means to change a system. So he appointed him to change or to reform his land revenue system. Todarmal reformed the land revenue system, which was known as Zabt. For reforming the land revenue, he measured whole cultivable land. Then he fixed land revenue on the basis of 2 elements. First was the quality of the land. Second, the quantity of produce. The peasants had choices to pay the land revenue. they could pay either in cash or kind. Here kind means they can pay through goods or services. Akbar, as we have studied earlier, that Akbar was understanding the needs or situation of the people. He have gave loans to peasants who were affected by famine or drought. So Akbar took some more projects for the improvement of the agriculture and the irrigation. Why? Because that time that agriculture and irrigation was the main source of revenue. The other sources of revenue were first octroi. Octroi means a duty which was levied on various goods at the time of entering in a town or city. Second, taxes on mine. Third, salt tax. It was imposed to the volume of salt purchased. Fourth, state trading. Fifth, presents to the emperor by his nobles. Whenever that nobles, they were giving any gift to the emperor, at that time nobles had to pay the tax. Sixth, fine imposed to the guilty person. Guilty person means who have broken any law. So person who have broken any law, he have to give some fine, and that is coming under kind of tax. Seventh, that was a kind of revenue for the empire. Seventh, income from minting of coin. Minting means to make coins. Okay, so whichever income they were having because of the minting of coins, it has been considered as the revenue. Next is Mansabdari system. Akbar reorganized the whole machinery. Here machinery means a group of people or a system. So this machinery that is related to civil and military services, known as Mansabdari system. The word Mansab means place or rank. The Mansabdars were the holders of the ranks in the emperor's service. Mansabdar were classified into 33 grades. This classification was done on the basis of the number of horsemen to be supplied by an officer to the king. These grades range from command of 10 to 10,000. In Urdu it is called 10 Hazari, means 10 and then 1000. Okay, so here in Urdu it is called 10 Hazari. The Mansabdari were paid on the basis of two elements. First is according to their rank, and second, as they had to first furnish some number of men indicated in their grade. So at the time of payment it was calculated. So dear students, just now we have studied that the Mansabdar were classified into 33 grades, and these ranges from 10 to 10,000. Now the highest grades were reserved for the member of the royal family. The Mansabdar could transferred by the emperor, and that will be at the will of emperor only. The Mansabdar troops were recruited by the Mansabdar himself, but the general rules of the recruitment, maintenance and payment of troops were laid down by the king only. Now to keep the check on these malpractices means illegal behavior. Now to check the illegal behavior of the Mansabdar, they were maintaining descriptive roles of the soldiers. Their horses were not ordinary. Horses were of branded. They were having very branded horses, and they were known as Dag. Now we will understand about the relationship between Mansabdar and Jagir. Jagir is a grant of land which is given by the emperor to the Mansabdar. Mansabdar use this land to raise fund in the form and rent, and then they pay rent and taxes. Mansabdar use the fund raised to meet personal and administrative needs, means their personal needs for their livelihood and for that fund required for the administration. And they also they were using the money for the maintenance of their savar. Savar means it indicates the actual number of horse under them. In other words, we can say that the Jagir was granted to the Mansabdar so that he can discharge his obligation. Obligation means liabilities or duties. And what were their liabilities? Liabilities were to maintain their mounted troops. Mounted troop means soldiers who fight mounted on horseback.